All right, well, welcome to another episode of the CPP CommunityCast. I'm your host today, Brian Taylor. I am a talent advisor in talent acquisition and diversity outreach, and I'll let the rest of my team introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jesus Avalos, and I am a learning and development consultant here at Cal Poly Pomona, but I'm not the only learning and development consultant on this podcast.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Andy Handy, and I too am a learning and development consultant.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miguel Urrutia, and I am a multi-analyst for EODA HR Ops.
All right, well, thank you guys. Now that you know us, I know, Andy, you have the question of the day for us, so take it away.
I do. So typically, I know that our questions of the day are very thought-provoking. We get really deep sometimes, and it can go a lot of different places and lots of feeling. This is not that.
So I don't get to feel this time, Andy? No feelings?
You might have some feelings, but
okay.
I was thinking about our special guest, which I know we'll announce later, and it kind of started me thinking, where's your favorite place to get pizza? And I thought this would be really cool for our listeners or our viewers if they want to try out some different places, or for us, to give ideas to each other. So I'll give you a second to think about it, because I know this is probably the hardest question that we've asked on the podcast.
Yeah, I think
Jesus looks frozen right now.
No, you broke my brain.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a second to reboot. So Brian, I know you're going to start. So go ahead.
I don't know. I really wasn't prepared for that question. Okay, does it have to be a pizza place in Pomona?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
Oh,
It
okay.
would be on the other end of the earth if we needed to be. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well, I think I do have one then. When I was younger, each Friday, me, my mom, and dad would have a pizza night. And we would go to this place called Me and Ed's. And so it was actually like a privately owned pizza spot. And so they ended up selling it. And when they sold it to, I forgot who they sold it to. It was a franchise though. They sold it to like a bigger company. And so apparently we were one of the top 5 customers. So because we would go every Friday. And so when the franchise bought the company, they actually reached directly out to my family. And they're like, hey, we want to offer you guys like some coupons. We want you guys to come in and be like, guests in our place. So I don't know if I have a favorite pizza spot, but that's definitely like a heartwarming memory of mine.
That's awesome. And the fact that they reached out to you is super exciting, but also like, oh.
Yeah, it's a little worrying. we really had that much pizza that you guys felt like we were your top 5 customers.
The success of your business hinged on Brian and his mom going to your pizza place.
Exactly.
It sounds like it.
Hey, but it was really good pizza though, so I can't, I'm not mad.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, we're not going to make our quarterly goals. Brian hasn't been in for like 2 weeks.
It's true. All right, how about you, Jesus?
Okay, so I'm going to actually give you 4 answers, but they're going to be brief. So when I was a kid growing up, Angie's Pizza in Bell Gardens, California, because I grew up in Bell Gardens. Shout out to Bell Gardens. Great pizza, but they no longer exist. Now, close to Cal Poly Pomona in Diamond Bar, there's a place called Barrows Brothers Pizza. It's, I think, off of Golden. I can't remember what the street name is, but Barrows Brothers Pizza in Diamond Bar, amazing. So that's really good. Near where I live in Whittier, there's a place called Blackjack Pizza, which is equally amazing. And then when I'm on the west side, near UCLA, there's a place called La Monica's Pizza, and they import their dough it's supposed to be every day, but regularly from New York. So if you want amazing New York style pizza, La Monica's Pizza in Westwood is the place to go.
Well, we clearly know who our pizza expert is on this call. Right? Wow.
I wrote my master's thesis on mozzarella cheese.
I hear you. I feel you. I'm going to take Jamie out to La Monica's.
La Monica's, LAMONICAS. La Monica.
We'll definitely add that in the description on this video. So you can check it out.
Team building event. All right, Miguel, how about you?
Oh man, you guys have so many good choices. Like, I'm pretty simple when it comes to pizza. It's like whatever's closest to me. And but there is one that in particular was kind of different, and that was Hawaiiana. It's like close to where I live, but it recently closed down due to COVID. And so, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. Like mozzarella was pretty fresh. Like, because I could say there was in a franchise, it was like a mom and pop shop, so it's really good. Like the pizza compared to other places, like if I could go back in time a little bit, I would definitely eat some more for their Hawaiianas. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, we got some good places here. So I don't know that I'm going to be very helpful. But growing up, we did have a lot of pizza. My family is from Philadelphia. And so we'd oftentimes go to really cool places back east. And one of those places that we would go to is down by the shore, the Jersey Shore, called Sam's Pizza. And it was so good. And so like Brian, it has some nostalgia to it as well. But they don't call them like, I'm like, can I get a large pizza? They call them pies. So I need a pie. And that's really cool. As of late, I have had to modify my diet a little bit. So it is harder to find a place. So I am dairy, egg, and gluten free. So you can imagine it's pretty hard to find a pizza. And so I do have to say, I just recently ordered a pizza from Brew Works that was all of those things, and it was really good. So I was just excited I could now have a pizza. So if you have any sort of like modifications or dietary restrictions, I would definitely recommend to check them out.
And you kind of let the cat out of the bag. You'll notice that we didn't mention a very, very good pizza place in Pomona as some of our picks, and that is because we are highlighting our very own Pomona Pizza legendary establishment. But we'll be diving into that in just a second. So anything else that we have to cover, gang, before we jump into our interview portion? Any updates or highlights that we want to share?
I can go first. How the EODA CP calendar is up live now, and our website's our calendar is up to date for the whole year, for the whole 2021 year. So you guys definitely check that out and sign up for any classes that are coming. And we'll put the link on the chat on description.
All right, Andy or Brian, anything that we want to share?
Yeah, I think we have a huge update for our department. Talent acquisition, we're actually going to be going live with Page Up. I don't know if that was a secret and I shouldn't have told you yet, but
I can't believe you let the cat out of the bag, Brian.
Mid-October, we will be going live. So in September, we'll start training. We'll start kind of rolling it out to the campus a little bit more as we finalize some details in the system. But I'm really excited. I think that applicants are going to have a better experience. I think that hiring managers on campus who are working with us will have a better experience. So overall, I'm just excited for the opportunity. All right, so we have two wonderful guests from Brew Works on campus today. So we have Melody Young, she's the retail assistant manager, and then Eric Bassett, who is the operations brewery manager. So today they're going to share some information about Brew Works with you guys, and I hope you learn a lot. So I'll pass it off to Jesus.
Great, thanks a lot, Brian. We appreciate it. And Melody, Eric, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing some insights about Innovation Brew Works. We're really looking forward to finding out about it. So thank you both. And Melody, I want to start off with you. And I know that this is a really broad question for the morning time. So feel free to answer it however you'd like. But what do you feel makes Innovation Brew Works so special?
I would say definitely the students that work here. And just together. We've got an amazing team that really cares about the community, and everybody working together is really what makes it so special.
Great. Thank you. And you mentioned students, so I want to actually kind of loop around and come over to Eric, because Melody mentioned students, and that leads into the question I want to ask you, Eric. Can you tell us about your journey to Innovation Brew Works and what your role is there currently?
As a student of, I graduated Collins College of 2016, and as we were talking earlier, the brewery opened right towards my senior year. So it was very convenient having this brew pub located on campus to hang out, meet friends, do work. And as a culinarian, it's all about finding new creativities. And beer is something I never really got into, the production side at least. The consumption side is all in restaurants and the hospitality industry. And so being over here, I helped out a couple of events. The Brew Works was at the auction at the Rose Garden we do every May. So I helped them bring some stuff back over. And then asked for a job. Think I was just going to slang some pizzas all day because I worked in restaurants, but they had opportunity in the back. And then so that really allowed my culinary creativity to kind of take a different approach from food now to beer, which is only 4 ingredients making thousands of different styles. So that's kind of like how I joined the team here. Melody wasn't a part of the team when I got hired on.
And Eric, tell us a little bit about your role currently.
Currently, the past 16 months, I did everything in here pretty much by myself. So it kind of made me realize how much work there is in a brewery. 80% of our job is cleaning and more cleaning, scrubbing floors, keeping tanks shiny and sanitary. Write recipes, make sure like the SOPs are up to date. And I also teach through the Extended University. So our program is an assistant brewer training program that anybody 21 and over can take the class through the Extended University and really get a hands-on learning experience. Learn by brewing is our hashtag down here.
I love that.
And it's a very rare class that you get to take. Most of these brewing courses, brewing science, are all like more book smart, and we're kind of give you the street smarts where you're hands-on working in our production facility, helping us make pretty much all the beers on the menu and some of our house accounts at local restaurants. So kind of scares me in the first couple of weeks getting all these young and green, as you will, students coming in here and operating on our tanks. And of course, things go wrong a little bit here and there, but we have our supervisors and myself always there next to them. And sometimes the best ways to learn are from mistakes and things going wrong. So just as much as I don't want that stuff to go wrong for like you got to find that right, it's all right if this goes wrong, a little beer waste. But if they're putting, the wrong hops or yeast into the product, that's when I will actually step in, because it will have a big effect on the product. But for a certain point, I gotta just almost close my eyes to let things go astray so they can learn from that.
You've got to let them learn by brewing, right, Eric?
Yeah. And then just finding that fine tune of where to step in and where to just keep on watching, make sure. Yeah. And then safety is the angle. We want to make sure we stay safe here. Yeah. Very hazardous job back here. A lot of chemicals, and working with like CO2 can be very harmful, if not lethal. So we want to make sure we hold that safety and sanitation, still while they're learning and figuring it out through trial and error.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
And Melanie, coming back to a point that you made, because you were talking about our students. So with that in mind, that idea of students, how does Innovation Brew Works support growth and opportunities for our students? Obviously, Eric was speaking about his experience as a student. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Eric operates the back end. On the front end, the majority of our students. So in training services, we're going to offer kind of a schedule that can definitely work around their school schedule, so they can focus on school. But we also offer a lot of opportunities for them to utilize their talents within the brewery itself. So currently we have like trivia night and nights running. We allow students to operate those rather than hiring somebody in. They get to just really like showcase the things that they enjoy doing to run those. We've had a student that was a culinary student decide all of our weekly specials we run. Those are all student design. We've had students running our social media. We really, everything that we're doing in-house, we try to have students run it and just let them showcase their.
Wow, that's wonderful. So really, when it comes, and you called it front of house, is that right, Melody?
Yeah, so it's kind of like I guess like restaurant terms. There's front of house, back of house. Like the people you're going to see in the front are what I'm referring to as like front of house. The people behind the cashier, the people making the pizzas, the people their guests will see when they walk in.
Wow, okay. So really that experience that we get when we go to Innovation Brew Works is created by the students that are working there and interacting with us and really creating that experience for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, great. Thank you, Melody. Eric, coming back to you for a second. And so I'm going to ask you to set your modesty aside, because on the website, there's a listing of some of our award-winning beers. So can you talk a little bit about some of those, about some of the award-winning beers? Melody had mentioned them to us. I'd love to hear more about them.
Yeah, so one of our most award-winning beer is going to be our Cattle Rancher. It's a dry hops saison. Is really one of the first recipes me and a fellow brewer truly got a chance to write together when I got promoted into management. These type of saisons are not really too common in tap rooms to find, and it was a style that I personally really enjoy. So we wanted to shape it around, what we want to drink, and then also what's kind of trendy. So that's why we kind of went towards a dry hop, because everybody loves hops. So that's kind of where the dry hopping came into that. And pretty much every year since we've entered it in, since 2018, we got an award. So we got, I don't remember what it actually had won, but I think one year it got silver at LA County International, bronze at San Diego International. And then there was a silver at the very first California Craft Brewers Cup. So that was there was one more. It received 4 medals in the past 3 years. We also have won an award for our brethren Belgian, which is a Belgian Golden Strong. That's one of Melody's favorite to-go beers here. It's going to be kind of banana, clovey, higher in the alcohol, a little dry, kind of has a sweet kind of dry finish, kind of having you going for more, kind of salivating. Another beer we've won was our Bronco Brown. We got a silver in the San Diego International for that last year. So that was, we released the brown every year for the first day of school. So it's going to kind of be a little nutty, a little toffee, kind of caramelly, slightly chocolate notes on that brown ale. And it's fun writing these recipes and receiving those awards after. I used to do like culinary competitions, and as a judge, your palate kind of gets very fatigued after a while. So I don't really enjoy competitions because I know it's on the back end, and I can only imagine sampling so many beers after a while. And I've done judging at the LA County as well. But we're happy of our awards here and showing them off in the front. Definitely.
Well, congratulations on all those awards. And
thank you.
Yeah, and it seems like your ability to get creative with the beers has a lot to do, especially with the Cattle Rancher. And just out of curiosity, why Cattle Rancher? How'd you come up with that name?
I'm trying to remember that one. I think it was our brewer Philip who came up with that name. Saisons are generally for like the farm workers, the ranch hands. Historically, it would be a light ale. You would drink it from like March time to fall, which is like your harvest in the field. And historically, beer was more sanitary than water. So they would drink a very low alcohol, 2-3% for their like lunchtime or after to kind of stay hydrated throughout the day. So it's kind of that, the cattle kind of ranching. We also have a lot of cattle here on campus. Maybe he was driving to the parking lot over there by the beef and he came up with the name. Don't quite really remember where that one came from. But I remember Philip, our one of our old brewers, student brewer, came up with that name.
Cattle rancher. Well, it's a winner, right? Figuratively and literally. So thanks for that, Eric. And Melody, coming back to you, talking about the experience and obviously the food there, what suggestions do you have for first-time guests that come to Innovation Brew Works? Especially, you mentioned food, and you also mentioned during one of our previous conversations some of the seasonal menu items that we have. Can you speak to any suggestions that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of try to make them so they are unique, where you can only come to Innovation Brew Works to get them. So we have an elote pizza right now, which is amazing. It has garlic, mozzarella cheese, elote corn, cotija on there, and like cayenne pepper, just like you're eating an elote, but on a pizza. We have soy riso pizza that's very good, a pastrami. So I definitely suggest trying one of those signature pizzas coming in. We do our weekly specials every week as well, which I mentioned were made by a like she developed all of those specials and they're all unique and delicious. Or we do for Bronktoberfest every year. It's kind of like our Bronco version of Oktoberfest. We have a pizza made for Oktoberfest with bratwurst on it. And then we also do, trying to think what other, for the pumpkin festival, we have a pumpkin pizza pie. So it's like a pizza, but it's a pumpkin pie. It's the best of both worlds.
Wow. Okay. So before you both came on, we were talking about pizza places and we were making recommendations. And I was saving it because you had mentioned in our previous conversation that bratwurst pizza, and that just blew my mind, I have to tell you. So that is the ultimate recommendation that we have, is that, but that's just me, because I could also go for the pastrami pizza as well. But yeah, great recommendations.
Yes, we have Oktoberfest should be hitting the end of September. So that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah. So I'll be there and I'll be bringing some friends, Melody. So
awesome. For you.
Forward to it. And becoming thirsty as well, Eric. So coming back to you for a second, can you tell us about because Melody was mentioning some of our seasonal menu offerings. Can you speak to some of the seasonal or special brews? And you kind of touched on it, but if you could speak a little bit more to that.
Just like how Melody has weekly specials, we kind of have a weekly special of our own tap. It's called our Class Clown. So every week I'll do like a different fruit or herb, tea, spice to one of our kegs. So it's usually like a little small 5-gallon keg edition that'll be only on tap for 4 or 5 days even. And then I'll put a new one on. So that's our weekly special. Right now we have our orange creamsicle, which we use fresh orange juice from campus and a little vanilla on our cream ale. It's got a nice deep orange color, just taste and look like an orange creamsicle you would buy on a hot summer day. So that's our weekly specials. Coming up is going to be our Bronktoberfest on September 23rd. That one's a very popular one. We also do a pumpkin beer, where I take my pumpkin pie recipe, like the filling, and I'll mix that all up minus the evaporated milk to make it lactose free. And then I'll blend that in with our kind of like a light amber beer, and it just screams pumpkin pie. It's like a pumpkin pie frappuccino, whatever people go crazy for at Starbucks, but an alcohol version. So we like to do a lot of like seasonals like that. Since we're here on the farm, or here at Cal Poly where we have our farm, which is really close, I try to work with Chris on a lot of things that are seasonality. Last month we released our wheat o-melon, which takes over 100 fresh watermelon from the campus. We do a cold press squeeze on that and blend that in with a wheat base. So it's about 3-to-1 ratio watermelon to beer. So it's very, very potent and aromatic with watermelon, but it's a really good balance that you're still getting the wheat base of the beer and the watermelon. They're not kind of overwhelming on one or the other, which you can find a lot of beers that if it says like watermelon, you're only going to taste watermelon. It tastes like a Jolly Rancher or something artificial. This one, we use pure watermelon juice from the campus here. So there's a couple of our seasonals right there we like to roll out in the next coming months.
And I love that partnership that you have with the different elements of campus. And
trying to get like the whole campus involvement and that whole like circle is kind of my goal as an alumni. Just figuring out all the resources we have here on campus and trying to tap into them even more. All of our spent grain goes to the cattle on campus, so that so there's no waste. That's real nice there. Very small footprint for the farmers that come drive over and pick up the grain, and then the cattle eat that fresh. We used to work with the science microbiologists, so they would help us with their equipment on campus. That's a little bit nicer than what we have here. So we partnered up with them and just trying to figure out other different departments. And we're partnering up, with you guys now. So another campus department we're working with.
And we're excited to have you. And thanks again for that. And I have to say, when you mentioned, was it, Eric, the creamsicle or the orangesicle beer?
Mm-hmm.
You should, and we're going to, Miguel, in editing, you have to highlight Brian because it totally blew his mind. I think it broke his brain because Brian oh, so yeah, make sure you highlight that in the editing. But yeah, we're really excited about all these things because the message that it communicates to me, Melody and Eric, is that if you've been to Innovation Brew Works, come again, because each time you come, it's almost like a new experience with all of the different offerings that you have, both on the menu side, but also on the beer side. But as we're wrapping up this portion of our discussion, we're not done yet because we've got another couple of segments that we want to have Eric and Melody participate in. Is that right, Brian?
Yes, sir. So we have a few more things, and I know Miguel's going to be leading this. So actually, we have the tip, trick, or hack. And so that's going to be with you, Eric. And then we have lightning round questions, and that'll be with you, Melody. So whenever you're ready, Miguel, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Brian. So Eric, for the tip, trick, or hack, it could be anything from like an app that you have installed on your phone, or, something like, I know you did culinary. So like any tips, like for cooking tips that you could mention. So it could be anything really. So,
okay. Yeah, so I was trying to think about that. So I recently purchased a house and I planted a gazillion things in the ground, herbs, tomatoes, corn, you name it. I got it in the ground. So a tip I've been doing is fighting bugs and slugs. So if you put a little cup, like a little saucer of beer out, the slugs like that sweetness and they'll go into there and drown. And if that doesn't work, you kind of get some broken eggshells and kind of sprinkle that around on the ground. They can't walk on eggshells. Also ash. If you have like a little fire, throw some ash on the tomato plants, and the caterpillars don't like that and they'll fall off, or are on the mint and they can't climb all over that. So that's just a couple of gardening tips I like. And then sunflowers attract all the bees, and the bees generally will deter some mosquitoes.
I need that one. Mosquitoes, definitely. I don't know. For some reason, mosquitoes are really attracted to my blood.
Oh yeah, my yard's real bad right now. Like for me, I don't really notice them too much. My wife, when she gets mosquito bitten, she swells up like the size of a quarter sometimes. So I'm trying to figure out any kind of trick for mosquitoes. We try. I got like 6 different remedies going on, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Those are really, really useful tips. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Melody, are you ready? So we're going to do a lightning round questions, a total of 15 questions, and they're going to be a bit random, and just answer the first thing that comes to mind. All right. First question, polka dots or stripes?
Polka dots.
Are you a morning or a night person?
Night person.
What is your favorite TV or stream channel?
None.
Quality of life or quantity of life?
Quality of life.
What is better, being organized or attention to details?
Attention to detail.
Last band or artist you listen to?
Last band or artist I listened to, Alanis Morissette.
And he's like, yeah. What do you think when I say fruit?
Say fruit.
Mhm.
Breakfast.
How many keys do you have on your key ring?
Oh, a lot. Probably like 10 or 11.
New clothes or new phone?
New clothes.
If you could live in a book, TV show, or movie, what would it be?
Smallville.
Oh, nice. Favorite color?
Red.
Pancakes, waffles, or French toast?
Waffles.
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
Favorite city?
New York.
Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Skydiving.
Nice. And those were the 15 questions. Thank you, Melody.
All right. Well, thank you. That wraps up our podcast. We really appreciate having both of you. I think I learned a lot. I've been to Brew Works a bunch of times, and I feel like there's always something new. And I really appreciate that about Brew Works. And I definitely will be back to try the orange sickle beer. So if you run out, please save me a glass. I'll be there on Wednesday. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate all the info you had to share and really the impact that you make on the community for the students and the staff. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. So that concludes our podcast. Stay connecting, stay learning, and stay growing. Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
All right. So who wants to count us in?
I guess I can do it. 3, 2, 1. We're live.
I like that.
Share my cup with you guys today. Do you see this?
Karaoke.
Mobile
DJ
music
Henry.
karaoke solutions.
It's for karaoke. It's my friend Henry.
Oh, DJ Henry.
DJ Henry.
That's right. I would say in the house, but I'm not in the house. But I thought you guys might enjoy my little.
Nice.
Karaoke.
So DJ Henry. So DJ Henry does DJing and karaoke.
He sure does.
So there's a term for that actually. Is it KJ? I think it is.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, they just sent me a text the other day and it's like, oh, he's going to be the KJ over here for the next couple of months. And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yes, it's like disc jockey, karaoke jockey, apparently.
All right, now this is where we insert the Jeopardy music.
Yeah. Miguel's thinking, I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
I should probably do like some type of like gesture that we can know. Okay,
Yeah.
here's the cut.
If you need any help with editing, Miguel, I've got you. Don't worry. I'll walk you through it.
All right,
Truthfully, I don't know anything about
We'll let
that.
Jesus edit the podcast. It'll be the shortest podcast.
beginning and end.
We'll hit our time goal then, right?
And
Yeah.
for the first time ever, right? Now, Eric, I think you were there at the inception, right, of Brewworks? Like when they had their grand opening, were you there?
As a student, I was here consuming. I graduated in 2016, and I didn't start working in the brewery until February of 16.
Okay.
And we opened our doors April, I think, of 2015, somewhere around then. So pretty much in the very beginning, I've been here.
And now, Eric, so your title is it Brew Master?
We're getting away from the brewmaster term. I got to call myself like operations brewery manager and instructor. I also teach classes through the extended university.
So it's operations. What was it again?
So like operations brewery manager or brewery operations manager, whatever sounds clever.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on the day and the time.
Yeah, every day.
Now, just out of curiosity, though, why moving away from the brewmaster term? Is that like it's just in general, like
The term
or is it just
master, people are stepping away from, like master bedrooms. Kind of think about it, master bedroom in Georgia. It's kind of not acceptable. Yeah,
got
so
you?
it's a whole every kind of term master. People are kind of stepping away from.
Got you. Okay, so
Okay.
so that's really just across the industry.
Yeah, let me help Melody log on to her computer real quick.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, that term brewmaster or just the master term people have been starting to. I found out a couple months ago as well. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
understandable. 21, everything gets
yeah,
all
rebranded. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So before you would have been referred to as I've also heard it referred to as brewmeister as well, I guess referring to the German. Okay.
Yeah, I would, even if I would use the word something, if I'm like 30 years of experience, kind of comes with experience and wisdom, and then like another brewmaster would have to call you a brewmaster to get that.
It's like martial arts. You have to have the title bestowed upon you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like anybody could, like my background is culinary. Anybody can open up a restaurant and call themselves a chef. But when somebody else calls you like chef, you're gaining that respect.
That's when
and
you're
kind of that
legit.
title.
Yeah.
I
So
call myself CFO, but I'm not really. Whatever you want, right?
That's so weird, Eric. I do the same thing. That's weird.
Yeah. So what, do you have to kneel down and they have to touch each shoulder with a sword or something like that? Is that how it works
That's
when
how you get
finally-
fired.
You got to be able to consume so many beers and so many apps.
Well, we noticed that you mentioned, what was the term that he used when he consumed, or what was the term that he used that I was there on the
He was-
first day?
Consuming.
Yes,
Yeah,
consuming.
consuming.
So, Eric, what's your favorite karaoke song?
I really don't do karaoke, actually.
What's your
Oh,
favorite
see, that means he's a good
song
singer.
to watch other people sing?
Yeah, when people say they're not good karaoke singers and then they actually sing, they're like Pavarotti or like Celine Dion. They're like amazing singers. So if you had to sing a karaoke song, Eric, what would it be?
See, I don't even know. I usually opt out on the karaoke nights when my friends go out.
See, he said
Not my
that means that on
forte.
occasion he does.
I feel like this
I
is
do the
a
behind
hard
the
pass.
stage work, not in the front and center.
Oh, wait. I see Melody is here. Let's see if the camera.
Yeah.
All right, let me go tell her.
Yeah, I think she's getting on.
Huzzah. There you
There she
Hey.
is.
Sorry.
are. No, that's okay.
Yeah, thanks for.
Oh, that's a little bit.
Oh, now you're turned sideways, Melody.
You want it up and down?
Oh, now you're right side up.
Yeah.
There we go.
And you look fantastic. And no worries, Melody. We run through this all the time. So we were just having a great time getting to know each other better.
Yeah.
Jesus, he's okay, but the rest of us are pretty cool.
Yeah. Now we've got all kinds of more footage for our blooper reel.
Perfect.
All right,
Okay.
well, I'll
Go
go
ahead,
ahead and
Brian.
introduce you guys, and then we'll hop into our next segment.
All right, sounds like a plan.
For the students and the staff. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. So that concludes our podcast. And I know Jesus normally goes through this spiel, and I'll try to do it. So it's stay learning, stay growing, and there's one more. Okay. What is it, Jesus?
You could
I
just
make it
you
up,
just
so
make it
every
up,
time it's
Brian.
different. Keep
All right,
connecting.
well, oh, stay connecting, stay learning, and stay growing. Thank you guys.
Nice.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Elder.
you.
And that's a wrap.
All right. Yeah, it's different every time. We should have said learn by brewing. I love that one.
Learn by brewing. I like
Yeah.
Yeah, I was anticipating Brian right now. I'm like, what is he going to say? What is he going to say?
that.
Yeah. But that was hilarious when Eric talked about that orange sickle. I saw, because I don't know why you were in my line of sight, and Eric looked like a 5-year-old. He goes, "Ooh!"
I really love orangesicle. So when you started to describe it, it was just like this nostalgic feeling. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I have to go get that.
That's how I
It's a
felt when Melly
customer
talked
favorite.
about the bratwurst pizza. Ooh.
I got super excited when she mentioned Alanis Morissette. I was
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this
Love
episode
Alanis
had
Morissette.
something for everybody.
Yeah, it's true. It's awesome.